You were up against so much fear. Everyone around you is telling you you're crazy. Your doctors are trying to fearmonger you into a cesarean on 36 weeks alone without anyone in the hospital telling you, oh, baby's heart rate's going down. You're trying to navigate this and ask questions and advocate for yourself. You were up against so much, then going 41 in 4 weeks with twins. But what did God do? The way he showed up, the way you had a pain-free birth with twins. Baby's born right on the bathroom floor.
The first baby literally fell out, still in the sack.
Really?
Yeah.
It was on call. How? Did you push at all?
No, I didn't push at all. Literally on my exhales during the contraction, I was just praying. I had 2 contractions in between. On that 3rd contraction, baby B was born. No pushing either, just my body drew him out.
Wow. 1 contraction, your body pushes baby out. Hey, ladies. Today I have a special treat for you. I am sitting down with Anastasia Malyk, who is sharing with us her twin birth story that became an unexpectedly unassisted birth, at least for baby A, and for the most part for baby B too. And she also went, get this, until 41 and 4 weeks with twins, you guys. So this home birth twin story is going to throw you for a loop. I am so excited to dive into this. Anastasia, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So you previously had 2 babies that you free birthed. Tell me a little bit about that and what led you to choose free birth for your first birth.
Yeah. So we originally weren't going to go that route. I was established with an OB, and you know how everybody tells you, you never know what birth is going to be like, especially with your first. So I kind of fell into that and established with an OB. But around 36, 37 weeks, they realized she was falling down on the growth scale. And so they were trying to push for induction. No reason. Dopplers were fine. She was healthy, just falling behind in growth. And so I wanted a natural birth so badly, and I knew I could do it. I knew my body was capable. So I actually left her care, and I had a doula who supported free birth. And so I decided to go that route with my first instead.
Wow. So they were concerned because she was measuring too small. How big did she end up being?
She was 7'4".
7'4". And how far did you go with her?
I carried her to 41.5.
Oh my goodness. They would have pressured you so much during that time.
Yeah.
And she just needed that extra time in the womb.
Exactly. She just needed it.
What did that do for your confidence as a new mom?
I think the Lord really did something in my heart with that first birth. I learned a lot just about how God designed it perfectly. And if my body could grow that baby, my body could birth that baby.
So beautiful. And then you had a second free birth after that one. So you obviously felt confident enough to okay, let's do this again. It worked great and good experience. Did you carry late for that one too?
Yes, I carried him till 40 and 5.
How was that experience for you?
Also incredible. Even better than the first. He was 8'4", but I felt my labor was just smooth. My water broke, and 13 minutes later, he was born.
Wow, amazing. So you've got 2 free births in your bag. What happens when you find out you're having twins?
Yeah, so I think the initial finding out we had twins, I was going through a lot of feelings because I've never heard of anybody having a natural birth that I personally knew. Never heard of anybody having twins at home. So that kind of went out the bag for me immediately in the initial finding out that they're twins. So I just began this journey of trying to find an OB who would support my delivery, who would support my choice for a natural delivery of the twins at first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then with my second baby, my doula, she actually had a dream, which just goes back to the divine intervention of God. She had a dream of me delivering twins, one in the living room and one in the kitchen. And so she shared this dream with me, and I was like, well, my second baby's not twins. So, your dream doesn't make any sense. I'm having one baby. And so when I found out I was having twins, I held on to that dream that my doula had. And I wasn't necessarily, praying for a home birth, but I knew that if God would give me these babies, that he would walk me through pregnancy and labor. I kind of had this desire in my heart to do a home birth, but I didn't know anybody who had a home birth with twins. So I began searching for stories that would inspire and encourage me. And I found the Instagram page, the Twin Home Births. And that night, that I found out I was having twins, I sat and read every single story, and I was specifically looking for monodi, which is the ones I was having, which there was few, but there were some that really began to stir something in my heart to have a home birth with the twins.
Yeah. And monodi, tell our listeners, what does that mean?
So monodi is an identical twin. So the egg splits, but the body makes one placenta. So they're sharing the nutrients from one placenta, but they're in separate sacs.
And so compared to two eggs that get fertilized separately and have their own placenta and their own sacs. Now, does monodi come with more risk?
Absolutely. I mean, they'll tell you right away you have a high chance of developing twin-to-twin transfusion, which is one twin is pulling more nutrients from the placenta than the other one. So that can be, fatal, dangerous.
Yeah. When you found out you were having twins and you felt like God was nudging you toward a home birth, what was that conversation like between you and the Lord?
I mean, I was afraid. There was a lot of things. And immediately I'm a research person. So I'm researching, what can happen. I want to know everything. And I'm telling God, I'm telling him I'm scared. I'm afraid. And we weren't trying at all. I mean, I was 7 months postpartum with my son, exclusively breastfeeding my son, my 7-month-old son.
Oh, wow.
When I find out I'm pregnant with twins, completely not trying. We were like, Lord, we had 2 under 2. They were 13 months apart. We're like, God, we're done for a long time. We've got enough on our plate.
Oh my gosh.
Got enough on our
plates. Oh my gosh.
So I remember the initial finding out it was twins. I was like, Lord, thank you for these babies, but why me? Why did you choose and pick me for this? Because I felt so incapable, first of all, of having a healthy pregnancy. I was 7 months postpartum, had 2 kids back to back. I didn't believe I could do it. I didn't believe my body could do it. And so I remember crying, weeping to the Lord, like, God, why did you pick me? Why? Why did you pick me? And the Lord really taught me a lot through this pregnancy.
What did he teach you?
To trust in him, that even if it wasn't going the way that I expected, that the Lord's hand would be over it no matter what. I mean, there was a point in my pregnancy at 36 weeks. So this is kind of jumping forward to 36 weeks. I was established with an OB doing ultrasounds. And at 36 weeks, they noticed baby A's heart rate was falling. Every contraction, I was already contracting really early on, his heart rate was dropping. So they actually transferred me to labor and delivery. I'm at 36 weeks. And they're like, you need to be monitored. This is, dangerous, whatever. So I'm there. The OB on the floor is like, we don't feel comfortable sending you home. You need to be induced right now.
Wow.
I'm heartbroken.
With your twins.
Yes. Yeah. And at this point, I'm heartbroken. I'm crying out to God, like, you told me you would walk me through this. Why is it looking like this? And I just remember God, that was the moment where the Lord taught me, even if it doesn't look like what you thought it would look like, I'm still here with you. So I remember, and it's crazy the turn of events that happened at this point, but they wheeled me into the labor room. I'm hooked up to IVs. I filled out the birth certificates. I'm ready to give birth. I'm ready to be induced with the twins. And the OB on the floor comes in and he tells me, he's like, I actually don't feel comfortable allowing you to vaginally deliver. I can only offer you a C-section. And he was the only OB. And I remember I'm bawling and I'm like, I'm not doing a C-section. I'm bawling. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing a C-section. I was alone. My husband's not even there yet. And they're like, you need to do it. You have to do the C-section. And so I'm calling my midwife and I'm like,
was this your doctor that you had been seeing?
It wasn't her. She was on vacation. And the crazy thing is, had she been in town, I would have been induced at 36 weeks. And those babies would have been born that day. But because God, because she wasn't there and this man was there and he only could offer me a C-section, I ended up saying, no, you need to discharge me, because I was asking them about the heart rates. And they were saying a bunch of nonsense. At one point, it was so dangerous. And then when I started asking them about it, they're like, actually, we just want to be safe. It's not at a dangerous level yet, his heart rate, but we want to be safe. And I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense. They're kind of going back and forth. They're trying to be safe because it's twins. But at the same time, I'm totally against it. And I was like, I don't feel comfortable doing this just to be safe. This is not something I'm
sounds like they were trying to scare you into delivering that day.
Yeah. And so I told them, just discharge me. I'm going home.
Wow. How did they respond to that?
I think I was scared I was going to get CPS called on me because I was like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So, but whatever, they made me sign some papers.
What did they say to that?
They didn't really have much to say. At the end of the day, they were like, it's your choice. We don't recommend it. It goes against everything that we're recommending for you, but it's your choice. And so I got up and left, waddled away at 36 weeks.
Wow. I mean, that is so crazy to me that they would pressure you into a cesarean with your husband not even there. Like you don't even have a support person. They don't give you any option. There's no one there to like help guide you through this. They're just like, this is your only choice.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that just feels like they're bullying you without even waiting for your husband to be there. Like, is it really that emergent? Because if it was, they'd be, okay, we need to perform a cesarean now. This baby is not doing well. But it sounds like they kind of led with that. But then when you asked more questions, they were like, well, no, actually, it's not emergency. It's just preventative. And it's like, wait, that's so confusing. Like, what's the truth here? You must have been so confused and scared at that point. So you discharge yourself, you go home, and then what happens?
And then I get on my app for the hospital and I messaged the OB immediately. And I said, hey, thank you for everything. I just had an awful experience at the hospital and I'm no longer interested in being under your care. I've actually been under the care of somebody else, and I dropped the OB.
Oh,
call me crazy, but I was done.
I love it. Yes, you are exercising your power. Go, girl. So many women are afraid to do that. They're so afraid to fire their OB or their doctor or their midwife, whoever it is that they have a bad experience with. And we ignore the red flags. And I see this all the time. We ignore them and we think, oh, it'll get better. It'll get better. And then it just gets worse. Because when you see those red flags, it's only you're going to see, you're getting signs of how they truly practice and what they truly believe. And if you wait and ignore it, you're going to have a worse experience in your birth. And I'm so impressed that you did that. You didn't wait. You didn't like, okay, let's see how it goes. Let me try to negotiate. Let me try to, you're just like, nope, I'm not your patient anymore.
Yeah. I was done, honestly.
Now, you were also under the care of a midwife. Did she say she could deliver you at that point? Did you talk to her about this? Like, what happened?
Yeah, so she was on board as long as the babies were measuring healthy and there was no signs of twin to twin, which is why I had the dual care with the OB. And they were measuring an ounce apart the whole pregnancy, and they were born an ounce apart. So it went great.
Wow. So they were healthy other than this weird scare at the hospital. And so your midwife agreed to take you on as a home birth client now at 36 weeks.
Yes. Yeah.
And had she delivered twins previously?
So she had some experience with twins, yes, home births, but no monodi. She had not delivered monodi prior to me.
And you had tried to find a midwife early on, you said. And how hard was it for you to find a midwife to take you on with monodi twins?
Yeah, very hard. Nobody was interested, honestly. I called every midwifery around the area. Nobody was taking monodi. They were kind of hesitant to even take die, which is the two placentas, 2 sacs, and they were definitely not taking monodi. So it was just really hard to find one.
Wow. So you were hoping for a home birth initially and then couldn't really find anyone to take you. So then you did concurrent care.
Yeah. So we were planning, I hired Kelly probably around 20 weeks. So she was already on board as long as everything was okay. So my husband was kind of warmed up to the idea of the home birth, and it was the direction we were hoping it would go. So he was on board. He had been my rock the whole pregnancy and my previous labors. So I knew that he would be my person for this birth.
Oh, so what happened? How far did you go before going into labor with your twins?
I actually carried them till 41 weeks and 4 days.
That is insane. No doctor would allow that in a hospital. No chance.
No chance.
Tell us, because I don't think some people actually understand how radical that is, because most twins are induced at 36 weeks or just straight up C-section. They don't even do induction. You were 36 weeks. You went a whole other 5 weeks and 4 days beyond when your OB wanted to C-section you.
Yeah.
What was going on in your head?
I felt crazy. At that point, it was really hard to protect my headspace. We go to a local church here in town, and everybody at the church, they're telling my husband, not me, but they're telling my husband, are you guys crazy? We have a doctor friend from the church too, and he's like, that's crazy. You guys are crazy. That's dangerous. Take her to the hospital. What are you guys doing? So, I mean, it was really hard to protect my headspace moving up to the pregnancy and the labor.
What gave you strength during that time?
Honestly, just the Lord, just prayer, weeping out to him. I wasn't strong. That's the thing. I wasn't strong myself. I had my doubts. I had my fears. I felt it was such a hard pregnancy. Towards the end, I was like barely moving. My husband was rolling me over on the bed. I mean, it was just one of the hardest things I'd ever done in my life. And so I remember crying out to God, like, I can barely walk. Lord, how am I going to birth these babies if I can barely walk? And I just remember being overwhelmed with peace every single time. And so I knew that the Lord would walk me through my birth with the twins.
Did you ever question yourself, like, maybe I should just go to the hospital and get induced? Or like, by now your original doctor was probably back from vacation weeks ago. Like, was there any point that you're like, maybe I should just take you to the hospital?
Absolutely. There was a week prior to me giving birth. So I actually wrote it down. November 1st, which was a Friday, I lost my mucus plug. And so I'm like, okay, like I would have been 40 weeks and 2 days. And I was contracting like 5 minutes apart, like all morning. And so I called the midwifery team and all of them came. I actually had 3 midwives on the team. So everybody came and I was like, surely I'm giving birth today. I wake up Saturday morning, nothing. The team is still there. They're helping me. You know, we're doing the dry pumping. We're doing all this stuff, trying to get labor to kind of pick back up. Nothing again. So Saturday I go to bed. I wake up Sunday and I'm still pregnant. And I'm like, Lord.
Oh my gosh. You must have been out of your mind.
It was just, so the team goes home and they're like, you know, we'll try again later. So they leave. And I was like, well, great. I just wasted their time, wasted my own time, and I'm still pregnant. And so at that time, I was like, Lord, should I go to the hospital? Like, what is happening? Should I go to the hospital? Like, I'm worried. But again, I just felt that overwhelming peace, you know, that surpasses every situation. And the Lord just gave me that peace to know that I'm still with you. I'm still with you.
Wow. So what happened when you actually did go into labor? You went a whole extra week past your mucus plug breaking.
Yeah.
Like, what are these babies doing in there? They're just making hunkering down. Like, we're not coming out. It's 41 and 4, 2 babies.
Yeah, it was wild. So I remember Saturday night, we were just hanging out at my family's house and nothing's happening. So I'm like, it's evening time already. It's like 9 p.m. We're heading home and still nothing. I'm still pregnant. I'm not contracting, no signs of labor. I'm like, at that point, I'm like, I'm actually going to be pregnant forever. Like, I genuinely was like, I don't know if my body is ever going to go into labor naturally. Like, what is going on? So we get home and around like midnight, I feel my first cramp where I'm like, okay, I feel something. It's not anything crazy, but maybe this is it. Maybe just maybe this will be it. Yeah. So around midnight, I began cramping and I asked my husband to draw me a bath just so I could lay, maybe, you know, like my body relaxing will help me go into labor. And so I laid in the bath for probably an hour and a half and I'm still cramping, but still didn't believe it was the real deal. I was like, you know, whatever, it's not much. There's no way, you know, it's going to be anytime soon. And I told my husband to go to bed. So it's about 2 a.m. at this point. So for 2 hours, I'm just contracting, nothing crazy. I'm watching a show in the bathtub, just laying. I'm laying in the bathtub. I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm not trying to do any kind of positions because I don't think that this is the real deal. So I'm just laying there and probably like 2:05, the water's getting cold. There's no more hot water in the tub. So I'm like, okay, I need to get out because I'm getting cold. So I get out. And as soon as I get out and like throw my leg over the bathtub, I have like an intense contraction that kind of caught me off guard, you know, and I'm at this point, first contraction, I'm vocal. I'm trying to breathe through. It's not painful, but it's intense. Like I'm feeling all of the pressure. And immediately my husband shoots out of bed and he's like, oh my goodness, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I just had a really intense contraction. Again, I'm in between the contractions. I'm fine. And he gets up because he's just like nervous for me. He's like, what do you mean you're fine? Like that was really loud. You're being loud, you know? And so, and then we're starting to time them because now I'm being very vocal. There's a lot of pressure and I'm timing them. They're about 3-4 minutes apart. But still, I'm telling him, I'm like, there's no way this is the real deal. It just doesn't feel like my other labors felt. It doesn't feel like, something is happening or like the baby's moving down, or it just doesn't feel like anything I'd ever experienced because I'm not in pain. I'm not like yelling or groaning in pain. I'm having these contractions and breathing, but I'm not in pain. And so probably by like 2:35, so 35 minutes had gone by, my husband's like, I think I need to call somebody. We need to get somebody here. You're still having these intense contractions. And so he starts calling the doula maybe like 20 minutes later. Because again, I'm not convinced that I'm in labor. So I'm telling him, I'm like, stop. I don't want everybody to come again. And it's going to be a false labor like it was a week ago. I don't want to burden anybody at 2 a.m., if it's not the real deal.
Yes.
So finally at 2:54, I calls the midwife. I call the midwife and I'm like, hey, I think I'm in labor. And she's 30 minutes away. She lives 30 minutes away. And so she's like, okay, I'm coming. And I'm also calling the doula at the same time. So I call the doula and I'm like, hey, the midwife Kelly's heading over and she's only 15 minutes away. So I'm like, can you get here? Like nobody's here. And at this point, I'm feeling the baby like in the birthing canal. Like I can barely walk at this point. I can't close my legs. I'm feeling the baby like right there in my pelvic bone. And so she's like rushing over and I'm laughing because I'm like, what the heck is happening? Like, I can't believe this is the real deal, but everybody's rushing over. So I'm like, Lord, let it be the real deal, please, because everybody's coming. So please don't let this be.
You're still in denial and you can feel the baby in your birth canal.
Absolutely. I was like, I don't know what's happening. This is too fast. I'm like, surely I can't have twins in like 30 minutes. I was like, it's not possible. And so the doula shows up. And at this point, I know I'm having the baby because I'm standing like, I'm leaning over the bathtub and I got like fluid leaking and my body is bearing down and I'm like, I'm not doing anything, but my body is
as far as you got? Like you got out of the bathtub and then just stood next to the bathtub?
Yes, I got out of the bathtub and immediately I'm telling my husband, like, because I had only given birth in water prior to the twins. So my two free births were in water. And so I was like a little nervous about giving birth like on land, as they say, because I never tore with any of my previous babies. So I kind of connected that to the water. So I was nervous. So I'm like, in between contractions, I'm like, hurry up, fill up the tub. Like the babies are coming. So I'm trying to get him to fill up the bathtub, which we didn't even make it into the bathtub
the birth
before
tub?
These babies were born. Yeah. The birth tub. Oh. We didn't even make it into the tub before these babies were born. But so the doula arrived. I'm trying to think of when she came. So the doula arrived at 3:16 a.m. And so she is like putting like towels on the floor, all the good stuff, whatever. And I'm kind of just leaning over the tub at this point, and I'm just praying. I'm praying. I'm having contraction. And on my exhales of breath, I'm saying, Lord, thank you for this life. And at 3:32, just like 15 minutes after my doula arrived, the first baby was born, like basically literally fell out and still in the sack.
Really? It was in caul.
Yep. Born in caul. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you push at all?
No pushing. I didn't push at all. Literally on my exhales during the contraction, I was just praying. And I have a video of it, but it's just a wrong angle. So I haven't felt comfortable sharing it, but it's just like right behind me as I'm leaning over on the bathtub. So it's a nice angle of everything coming out, but it's a real graphic. So I haven't shared it with anybody, but as I'm rewatching the video, I'm just praying. I'm saying, Lord, thank you so much. And this baby is just born right there.
Did someone catch it?
No. So I was like this much. I was like on all fours. So basically the baby just kind of went on the floor. It just kind of like slid out. I was like this much, like leaning on all fours. Does that make sense? Kind of on the floor.
Yeah. But you were only an inch from the floor.
Yeah. Even close. And the baby and my husband then lifted the baby up and they took the sack off. And then he brought the baby to my face and I just kind of like put my head to the baby and then was having a contraction immediately after. So I just had enough time to take a sip of my water and kind of get back to business kind of deal.
Oh my gosh. So, and you just probably 15 minutes before accepted that you were in labor for real.
Yeah.
And then the baby that's right out of you onto the
Yes.
bathroom floor.
Yes. Literally.
And you said you weren't in pain for most of these contractions. Were you still not feeling pain up until that point?
Yeah. So I honestly, I was not feeling pain. Like, was it intense? Yes. But I wasn't in pain. Like, I'm just like looking back and I was literally not in pain. It was intense, very intense. Like I'm breathing through, I'm working it through, but I literally was not in pain. And even when the baby came out,
The,
like there was no ring of fire. Like yeah, it was
how
just
big was the
supernatural.
baby?
The first baby was 7 pounds even.
That's a full size baby.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole baby right there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And your midwife still hadn't arrived. What happened
Yep.
next?
Yeah. So midwife wasn't there yet, but doula was there. And the midwife prior had asked me if I wanted to clamp the cord immediately. Cause I think, and I'm not like exactly sure, but I think with the mono dye, there can happen something like the blood can mix. So with mono dye, they usually clamp the cord immediately because the mixing of blood can kill baby A. So the midwife prior had asked me if, and I'm not exactly sure on the details of that, but I know that my midwife said something along those lines. So I had agreed to have the baby A's cord clamped immediately. And so my doula was kind of nervous about that because she was the only one there, but she had done her own research too. And so she was trying to clamp the cord as quick as she could of that baby. So she clamped the cord of baby A and she was holding the baby A, and my husband was kind of like trying to help, kind of like supporting me through. I had 2 contractions and then in between, and then on that third contraction, baby B was born. No pushing either, just my body drew him out.
Wow. Like one contraction, your body pushes baby out.
Yep.
Still hands and knees on the bathroom floor.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And at this point, had your midwife arrived?
Yes. So she arrived 2 minutes prior to baby B being born, but I don't think she was expecting that he was going to be born like that quick after baby A. So she was like setting up in the bathroom, getting all her like supplies ready. And that baby B came out and I just brought him onto my chest. And she was like in disbelief. She was like, this is the most straightforward twin birth I have ever been to. And we all were just laughing. We're laughing. I'm laughing. My husband's laughing. The doula is like, what in the world? She's laughing. It was just the most divine moment in my life that I've ever experienced.
Oh, so this all went down in like less than 4 hours from midnight to 3 something a.m.
Yeah.
Both babies born from first contraction to birth.
Yeah.
Wow. I've heard of this often with twin births where moms wait to go into labor on their own, so not being induced, and they often go full term. Like we're talking 40 weeks. Yours is probably the furthest I've heard. I'm sure there's others, but they often go full term and it often happens fast. Like the body, once it knows and it kicks into gear, it's like, boom, these babies are coming out in like less than 6 hours, sometimes 2 hours, 3 hours. So like, it's actually consistent with a lot of other twin birth stories I've heard. Were you shocked how quickly they came out?
Very shocked. I think it took me probably like a week to process it. A week after that birth, I was still like, that was insane. That was insane. That was crazy.
And after such a long wait where you're going crazy thinking you're going to be pregnant forever, to have them come out that fast has got to be such a mental like shift to make.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, Lord, you knew I needed that mercy in birth because of the pregnancy.
The waiting. Yes. Like you had to put your time in, girl. You put your time in. Oh my gosh. And how big was baby B?
He was 7 pounds and 1 ounce.
You had 14 pounds of babies in there.
Yeah.
How did you deliver the placenta?
Oh, so that placenta was huge. So I was in the bathroom on the floor and I didn't feel like I needed to push or anything. So we actually transferred me to the bed and I started nursing. The midwives helped me like latch the baby. So we latched both of the babies and I don't know exactly. I think it was about maybe 40 minutes later. 30 to 40 minutes later, I birthed the placenta. Very easy, like one push and it all came out. in one piece.
Amazing. So when you delivered both your babies blissfully, joyfully, without any assistance on your bathroom floor, how did you stay in your power knowing this is so different than what you planned and your midwife isn't even here yet? Did that shake you at all, or were you just focused on what you needed to do?
Honestly, no. And I think it was just remembering the promise that I had from God that there was literally no space for fear or doubt in that moment. I just knew that God was there, and I knew that God's hand was over it. I wasn't worried about hemorrhaging. I wasn't worried about anything. The babies cried and they looked great, and everything was just amazing. So I had no doubt or fear at all.
Wow. You said that baby B had been breached your entire pregnancy, but was born head down. What do you make of that?
Honestly, also very crazy. He was like transverse going to breach. And so I mean, I was prepared, and I felt confident enough to deliver him breech. And the midwife was trained by Dr. Stu in breech delivery. So I was
big
confident.
fans of Dr. Stu over here.
Yes, absolutely. And so I was confident in her ability if I needed help to guide me through that. So, but he came out head down, and everything was good with that as well. Praise God.
Wow. It's like everything worked out perfectly in the end,
Yeah.
faster and more perfectly than you could have imagined.
Yes. Yeah. Way more better than I could have ever pictured.
Wow. What would you say to other twin moms who are feeling pressured into induction or cesarean and are desiring a natural birth like yours? Maybe not unassisted and so quickly, but believing that maybe my body can do this and I don't need to have surgery or I don't need all these interventions. What would you say to those moms?
Yeah. The first thing I would say is that God specifically chose you to have those babies. And so your body is capable of doing it. I think the most important thing for me was surrounding myself with a team that knew that I was capable of doing it, that encouraged me to know that I was capable of doing it. So whether you choose to give birth at a hospital, get a doula, find an OB. Don't be afraid to fire your OB. Find one that's going to hop on board, one that's educated in twin delivery, one that's educated in breech delivery, because with twins, often you do get a breech baby. So just find a team that you are comfortable with, being in your birth space. I think that's the most important thing.
That's amazing advice. And true for every mom, whether twins or singletons. Don't be afraid to fire your doctor if they're not on board with a physiological birth, if that's what you desire. If they're pushing all kinds of inductions and interventions that aren't necessary and you're getting those red flags early on, don't wait. Find someone that the Lord will bring you someone. That's a takeaway I'm getting from this birth. It's like you were up against so many obstacles. You were up against so much fear. Everyone around you is telling you you're crazy. Your doctors are trying to fearmonger you into a cesarean on 36 weeks alone without anyone in the hospital telling you, oh, baby's heart rate's going down. You're trying to navigate this and ask questions and advocate for yourself. Like you were up against so much, then going 41 in 4 weeks pregnant with twins. And but what did God do? Like the way he showed up, the way you had a pain-free birth with twins, like babies born and caul, like right on the bathroom floor, your body just pushes them out. Like it is incredible what happens when we trust God in our births and pregnancies.
Yeah. So true.
And it sounds crazy. I'm sure there's people listening to this who are like, okay, you're lucky. Like you got lucky. But that's not smart. You're still crazy. Like, what would you say to those people?
Yeah. Honestly, I posted about my birth on TikTok, and it's got like over 400,000 views. And a lot of people are commenting, survivor bias, you got lucky. But honestly, I don't think it was luck, because if your body knows how to grow those two babies, and obviously there are cases, where something does go wrong and you need the intervention, but your body was designed, and in my case, designed to be able to grow those two babies. And it did. And it birthed them the way that it was designed to, the way that God designed my body to birth. And I didn't even tear or anything. And I attribute all of that to my trust in the way that God designed my body, that it is capable of doing that it is designed perfectly to be able to birth those babies.
Oh, amen, sister. So good. So good. Oh, thank you for your story. Thank you for your testimony. I pray that this just encourages someone out there that there's probably, I believe there's women who are facing obstacles, facing walls, facing discouragement and fear, and just needed some courage to make that bold choice, to make that bold move to trust God in their delivery. Not to say you have to do something that feels crazy or risky or dangerous, but you in your heart know, and in your intuition, if you know what God is speaking to you, if you know what your body is capable of, I believe this is going to encourage someone out there right now to really trust the Lord and trust their body, that their body does know what to do. So I want to hear from you. I want to hear your situation. I want to hear what you got out of this podcast. Please message us. And Anastasia, where can women find you if they want to reach out to you directly?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram, Anastasia Malyk _. You can also find me on TikTok. I post a lot of twin content. My TikTok is Anachenko. So it's ANACHENKO. You could reach out, message me. I'd love to encourage you and share more of my story with you as well.
Oh, amen. Thank you, Anastasia. And thank you for your story. Thank you for sharing and for your boldness and your faith. It's just such an inspiration. So with that, we'll see you guys next week.